Good morning, everybody. We're going to give everyone just a quick minute here, and we'll get started with today's presentation.
I'm not hearing anything yet on mine.
All right, can I get a quick message in the chat for those of you if you can hear me? All right, we'll get started in just a minute here.
That's a key.
All right, we're just getting another minute, letting the rest of the participants join, and we'll get started. Thank you for your patience. Okay, let's get started. Good morning and good afternoon to everybody. My name is Charles Morton. I'm the Vice President of Sales here at Aviso. And today we're going to talk about Aviso's platform and why it's important in the market that we have today. Looking at our list of participants, looks like we've got a nice varied audience, some from government, from semiconductors, the technology space, some manufacturing, and others. So thank you for making the time. You know, today's forecast market is really all about committing with confidence and changing the outcome. And as we look at technology today, the way we absorb it, the way we interact with in our daily lives, it's really all about that consumer-grade experience, that predictive experience, the exposure that we're getting to recommendations. And Aviso's brought that to the forecasting world. And so when we look at organizations that use, or individuals that use products like Netflix, Waze, Uber, we start recognizing and realizing that these companies are really not product companies. Netflix is not a movie company. Waze is not a GPS company, and Uber is not a taxi company. What they are data science companies. And what they're doing is they're crowdsourcing. They're looking at how you consume data. They're looking at the trends, both historically in your viewing habits and also others that have viewed similar items with similar characteristics, and then they're deploying a decision based on science to then unleash your next set of recommendations, right? Waze helps you understand where you're going and gives you the most desirable outcome on how to get there efficiently and safely. And Uber is able to tell their drivers almost to the exact point in time where to be, when to be there, and what their average time to a ride is going to be, and what the average value of that ride will be. And that's really all about driving better outcomes. And that's really the genesis of what we're doing here at Aviso. And so when we bring that back to the sales environment, sales operations environment, we start realizing that really there's only about 20 to 21% of organizations out there that are within plus or minus 10% of their forecast, even deep into their current quarter. And that doesn't even account to where they're going to be in the next quarter. So visibility has become an absolute premium, and knowing where you're going to land. And the problem with these organizations really not being close or understanding how close they can get to their number and where they're really going to land early in a quarter leads to sales individuals and sales reps only achieving quota 57% of the time. And so that leads to large revenue gaps, large leakage. And as we'll start talking about today, it leads to real organizational misalignment into where you're going to put your resources and how you're going to align your organization. And so when you talk about forecasting, one of the things that we all know and understand is it really is the heartbeat of your organization. Knowing what number you're going to hit, knowing where you're going to land, what opportunities make that up, drives extremely strategic decisions within your organization. You talk about finance, where are the budgets going to come from, where are they going to go, what amount of money are we going to have time to play with, see where is the marketing spend, what programs have been successful, which haven't, where are we going to double down and really push for either this quarter or next or the coming year. You look at organizations that manufacture products. How do I know when to start building? How much do I need to build, right? And how much money am I going to have to expand those manufacturing processes? We look at how do I develop my product? Well, product development is all driven by the amount of dollars coming in and knowing where to allocate those dollars based on customer demand, customer purchase, and all those other factors that go along with managing existing and evolving products. And the customer experience. If you are not securing the funds, if you don't understand where you're going to land in your quarter, it's going to start hemorrhaging in your customer experience, both the investment you make in their success and the ability to renew and retain those organizational, those mission-critical customers that you have in your organization. And so the more aligned you can get in your sales forecast, the more tightly it is going to align the rest of your business. And the earlier you know this, the more efficient your business is going to run, the more market share you're going to gain, and the ability for you to succeed is going to be higher than ever before. And so when we start looking at what has been the roadmap for getting to an accurate forecast, most organizations that we talk to today, they come from a variety of places. They may have a current CRM solution, and whether that's Salesforce or Dynamics or whichever other CRM solution. Some are even homegrown. And over the time, they've realized that CRMs are really just really good data models, right? And they're fantastic for organizing data and getting a little bit of visibility and reporting, and that's all fantastic, and that's really their intended purpose. But over time, organizations have realized that that's not enough. So they've layered in BI tools, right? These instruments that they give to their analysts or operational teams to start figuring out what the data that they have in their CRM really means, how do they digest it, and how do they turn that into action to start changing the way that their business runs and improving the way their business runs. Lately, we've also seen a trend in where data scientists are being hired by both extremely large companies and even some of the most junior startups to apply math to these BI tools, to the CRM, and to start really understanding what are the trends in my business? How do I get sharper? How do I get leaner? How do I understand what my target customer is? How do I make sense of where we're allocating our dollars, right? How do I know which is the best performing geography? And how do I know who are my best performing reps and best performing products? And so when you start getting all that amalgamation and stacking tools against each other, the one thing that they haven't really addressed is how do I then take all that information, put it into the hands of the individuals that are on the front lines and start forecasting and changing my business relative to the information that I currently have within my ecosystem. The danger is institutions have millions and millions of transactions within their CRM ecosystems that before have not been able to be surfaced, right? And so the data is getting stale, and it's data that you should be looking at, you should be representing to your constituents within the business and making decisions on, because nobody knows your business better than you do. And so that's where SuperForecasting comes in and the art of that prediction. And Aviso, we've been around for quite a while, we'll talk about that, but what we've been able to achieve with our customers is from the first day of the quarter, we're at least twice as accurate as any organization usually is. A lot of the time spent in forecasting, in aligning the business, whether it's weekly, quarterly, yearly, is rolling up that forecast. We have operational individuals that are spending 8 to 10 hours on Sunday nights rolling up a forecast for their teams. And quite frankly, by the time that information is all rolled up, by Monday morning, that data is stale. So how do we remove that time and essentially negate the need to roll up a forecast anymore? When it comes to achieving sales velocity, to growing revenue, to reinvesting dollars that you have coming into other pieces of the organization, it's all about reducing the time it takes to originate and close an opportunity. And if we're able to do that, we're going to see an increase in average sales price. Because the earlier that you're able to close a deal, the more warning signs you get about what is going on within a deal, the less you have to pull out that card and say, oh, by the way, it's our end of quarter, I'm going to discount this so I get this deal in. You don't have to play that card as much anymore. And with us, we've seen a massive improve in win rates. If we can improve your win rates 1 or even 2%, imagine the impact that has on your business. We're working with an organization right now. Their average savings with Aviso in their first year is going to be about $5 million, and that's only if they improve their win rates by 1%. So we've seen some very, very dramatic ROI from our customers, and some extremely great success stories. Aviso's really been around for about 4 or 5 years. We've been selling the product for going on 2 years now. We've got roughly about 40 customers. And just in that short time, the companies that have gone public or are now public using Aviso as a mission and business critical application have over $25 billion in new market cap. And in fact, the total market cap for Aviso customers is somewhere over $70 billion. And we take a look at and think about that, that is Wall Street, your investments that you're making in the market today are driven with the aid of Aviso, helping them understand where they're going to land and giving them the confidence to apply that judgment and share it with the market and the public. And that's an extremely large responsibility that we take on our shoulders, which is why we've developed an industry-leading solution to help drive those outcomes, to be able to commit with confidence, to be able to share the right information with the right people on the streets at the right time, to allow the companies like Nutanix to go public for $4 billion, HP Enterprise to share $39 billion of market cap with us. And so those are all the things that we're extremely proud of. And so when we talk about some of our customers, Splunk went public about 4 years ago. They've got a large amount of sales reps. They're doing 11-figure revenues per quarter, and they close 30,000 deals. Or they run 30,000 deals a quarter through Aviso. And so when they started with us, they were on spreadsheets. They had no visibility. They couldn't see the deals. They didn't understand what was changing in their pipeline. They couldn't take action on it. So the first step that we took to them was we automated that process. Let's get rid of the spreadsheets. Let's give everyone one singular view. And let's start understanding what is going on in our business from the top all the way down to the bottom. Right? We changed their forecast process because now they can start predicting the deals that they should be working on, the deals that will come in, and the deals that have less probability to come in. It's all about resource allocation, putting your best foot forward, and being in the best opportunities for your organization to win the opportunities that they should be winning. Right? And having one tool to use that is completely integrated with their CRM and instance has allowed all of their teams cross-functionally to be 100% aligned. We're extremely proud of the success that they've had. We look at organizations like Nutanix. For those of you who follow the market, they went public a few weeks ago, about a $4 billion market cap. They have been growing at an incredible rate over the last several years. And For any of you who have companies that are experiencing tremendous growth or expect to, this is an extremely difficult process and issue to solve. And so, Nutanix is using a very old system as well as spreadsheets. It was completely manual. They were dependent on one single person to help roll this up through the organization. But interestingly enough, Nutanix builds products, and their manufacturing arm didn't know when to start building. They didn't know when to start shipping. They didn't know when to start scheduling production. And without them being able to know that slows their business down and impedes growth. And so with Aviso, they were able to stop this 12-hour forecast roll-up, and now they do it in about 4 minutes. Interestingly enough, and we'll talk about when we get into the product in just a few minutes, they rely so heavily on what Aviso does. It is the driver of their entire manufacturing process today. And I'll show you what I mean by that. And so one of the biggest tools and advantages that Aviso brings is confidence, right? And I think Nutanix is a fantastic example of that. In fact, we'd be happy for you to talk to any of our customers. And the last example that I get is RingCentral. For those of you who are familiar with them, they've been growing rapidly. For those of you who aren't, they have a large sales crew. They are in around 30,000 deals a quarter. They had been an extremely manual organization using some kind of inflexible BI tools. They actually were completing their forecast offshore and then bringing it back, and they had no idea to actually see their business. And because they were so highly transactional, they had a very, very difficult time understanding what their business was really going to be able to do and how to standardize that view all the way up and down the chain. And so we've been able to help them not just in the forecasting process, but also in the development, motivation, and coaching of their reps. And we'll talk about how we've achieved that once we get into the product. So what kind of makes us a little different? What are our special powers, right? How do we see into the future? So organizations today, looking at this quarter is extremely important. But what happens when you get halfway through? It's time to start looking at the next quarter, because one quarter is not enough. So Aviso gives you that full 6-month visibility. We call it Q+1. We want to be able to pivot our data in whatever facet so that it fits your business. We will never be the organization that puts you in a box, right? We are a constantly evolving solution. So as your business changes, we change with you. So whether you drill down by product or by region or by revenue type or by booking type, right, we give you that full flexibility to be able to do that. And when you look at opportunity scores and deal scores as currently constructed, we're going to let you know which ones to focus on, which ones not to focus on, and what's really happening within your deals. One of the things that Aviso really strives on is we are not the company that's going to tell you how to run your business. We are going to surface the important trends within your business so that you can execute on how your business needs to best run. From overlays to splits to enterprise organizations like HP Enterprise, all the way down to the smallest of maybe 5 or 6 rep organizations, we've been able to solve and really ameliorate all of their processes, regardless of current technologies they're using, current processes they have, multiple instances of different CRMs. Nothing is too much for us, and so we'll talk about that as we get into the product. You also notice that we have our first poll question going out in just a second. We'll leave it up for about a minute, and so please take the time to respond, and we'd love to get your feedback on it. So I'm going to jump into our product now. And please, if you have any questions, please shoot them into the chat. I'm happy to answer them here. All right. So hopefully, let me see if I can just get my screen to go here. Give me one moment. All right, I'm not too sure what this lovely stuffed animal is here, but let's give it just a minute here. Yeah, just having a couple technical difficulties here. I apologize. Thank you for your votes there. It's extremely helpful. While we're waiting,
Okay.
there you go. While we're waiting, let's launch another poll question. Yeah, again, apologize for the screen share not loading. We're having some technical difficulties with BrightTalk here. We're trying to resolve it as quickly as possible. Appreciate your patience. Thank you for the vote responses. It's extremely helpful.
Let me try to add.
And while we're here, let's try another one. Okay, looks like we figured it out. I appreciate your patience. All right. Hopefully everyone can see my screen. I know we've got about 20 minutes left. Perfect. So let me first orient you to what you're seeing here. This is Aviso. It can be natively built into your browser. It's such an extra tab in Salesforce or Dynamics or Sugar or CRM or SAP, whichever is most useful, or and that has just the same SSO pass-through credentials. The other thing is it can also stand alone as its own portal. So however you choose to access it is completely up to you. There's really two phases in forecasting today. Phase one is I need to tighten up my roll-up. It needs to be clean, and I need to have one organizational view. So most of our customers, from the CEO all the way down to the rep, are engaging with our product on a daily basis. And when we think about CRMs, again, they're data models, they're great, phenomenal tools. However, they weren't really built for a salesperson, right? They were built for, usually back-end administrators and maybe potentially some reporting, things like that. But this is us putting a CRM and that data and the ability to actually forecast properly into the hands of your soldiers in the field, so to speak, those on the front lines. And so what we're looking at here is very similar, a very simple roll-up. We have it broken down by geography. However, we can also pivot it by type of business, whether it's existing, new, or renewals. We can also look at it by product, right? Maybe we have an on-premise product, cloud product, maybe we have some services revenue that we see. And then we can also break it down and look at them individually. So if you look at just the sales teams, we notice from left to right, we have all these columns brought in. And this is brought in directly from your CRM, or we can create custom columns. We see the assigned plan number, the Aviso forecast, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. We see what we've currently booked. And then whatever stages, forecast categories that you use today, or however you allocate the nomenclature for running your business, we would bring in here. And so you notice that there were three numbers. The bottom number here is the raw data that's being brought in from your CRM, right? So I'm seeing that globally, I have about $79 million that is being, in our commit category, that's being rolled into Salesforce. This middle number here is the judgment upon that $79 million from my direct reports. So I see that they're hedging about $12 million short of what is currently committed in Salesforce. However, the top number, which is my judgment, I'm in here as a global level, so I'm called the CEO or EVP of sales or operations, I'm forecasting $90 million. If I believe to go with my direct reports, I can very easily roll up this number and say, you know what, I'm going to go with what my directs are rolling up. Or if I'm saying, you know what, I think I'm going to hedge this as well, I think we're really going to do about $65 million, I can go ahead and enter that, and everything is written back real time into Salesforce. Same thing with most likely, same thing with best case. As we drill down from this level, we have two options. If I want to see the deals that are comprised from a holistic nature, I can very easily, with our inline view, look down through all of the deals that are made up for this, this quarter. I can see who owns it, the opportunity, which if I click into it will take me straight into the Salesforce record. I can see the amount of that opportunity, the category, the stage. I can see the close date, whatever columns you'd like to bring in here. And I can make changes that reflect directly back into Salesforce. I can also change the amount, should I so choose. However, we don't always advise this with customers. If you're not using a quoting tool, we say, you know what, go ahead and adjust the amount. If you are, we have some ways to separate this to where it may or may not write back to Salesforce. Again, the platform is completely configurable to all your users and permissions and current and future expected configurations. As I pull back out of here, I can drill in to a certain region. And as I continue to drill down, you'll notice this is one singular view, right? This is something very easy to adopt, one place to go, and now I've drilled in all the way down into an individual rep. And when I go down to the rep level, I can see their plan, I can see what we're forecasting, what they've booked, and again, all of their most pertinent data. In addition, we have customers bringing in pipeline coverage ratios. We have customers bringing in incentive compensation information. So whatever information that you currently make available or would like to make available, we can absolutely accommodate that here. Now, as I'm an individual going in here, I can see my entire pipeline for this quarter. I can filter it by specific deals. I can see just the deals that are in my commit category. I can see the deals that I've won and lost. So a very easy way to get a complete view of my business. I can go ahead and make those changes. If any of you have ever had, your salespeople complain that it takes forever to update sales opportunities because you have to go screen by screen by screen, we've completely gotten rid of that. And I can start seeing what are my deals that I have and what are they scored. Now, when we talk about score, one of the things that's extremely important and why data science is so pivotal in organizations today as it relates to forecasting is that you need to surface the trends, as we discussed before, that are pertinent and relevant in your business, right? That have currently happened and that give you a baseline of how you successfully won deals. So part of our implementation is when we will go back up to 8 quarters and we will look at every single deal that you've closed. And we will look at who was assigned, the stage velocity, the amount, the business unit it was in, the product that was sold, the origination source, the email activity, the call activity, all of these transactions, so to speak, that happen within that opportunity record throughout that opportunity's life cycle. And we will custom tune an algorithm that starts to understand your business. And that is where we come up with deal scores. And a deal score is the percentile, confidence percentile for that deal to close within the given quarter as it's currently constructed. Now, if you were to switch a rep, if you were to change a category, if you were to change a stage or the amount, that deal score would change. And that is a dynamic, living, breathing score that updates throughout the opportunity's life cycle. The unique thing about a VSO is that that is directly tied to our VSO forecast. The VSO forecast has a mathematical relationship, meaning what are we saying that this individual rep or region or product will do this quarter is directly tied to the individual opportunities. So no longer are you guessing about where this deal will come in. Nowhere else are you trying to assume how strong a deal is. We're providing you with an objective view of your data to then make a strong decision on should I allocate resources to that opportunity or should we hedge it somewhere else. I see we have a question. Question is, have you connected multiple CRMs to create a single pipeline? And if so, how do you normalize multiple or duplicative opportunities? Fantastic question. Yes, we have. We have organizations that are using Dynamics and Salesforce, for example, that get one view. Now, if you're looking at multiple or duplicate opportunities, that's clearly a hygiene issue. The solution is smart enough to understand that there are multiple instances of an opportunity, and we have and can institute a policy of data collision to then clean and scrub those multiple opportunities and score them accordingly. So hopefully that answers your question, but it's not a problem. It's something we've tackled several times. We're going to launch another poll question now, which I think is going to be relevant, and we're going to ask you on the final day of your quarter, on the first day of your quarter, where is your forecast prediction? How accurate are you? Typically, we've seen our customers, they're anywhere from 7 to some are 20, 25%. They don't know where they're going to land, and that's kind of normal. Our customers after VSO, as we mentioned before, are usually about twice as accurate at a very minimal or very minimum. We have some customers on first day of the quarter, they're within 1 or 2% of where they actually end up in the quarter. All right, we're happy to share those examples with you on a one-on-one basis. So we've just successfully rolled up our forecast very easily, and we've seen it all the way from the global level all the way down to the rep level. Keep in mind, you can snapshot at any time. We snapshot every single event, so every single pipeline change, every single amount change, all of those things, so you can report on it, right? Whether you want to bring those reports back in a BI tool, use our reporting engine, however you decide to do it, we're snapshotting every event, and those can be one-off snapshots, or they can be scheduled at whatever frequency or cadence you like. I think when we start talking about forecasting, what's important is understanding when I log in, what do I see every day? And what I see every day is what would be my dashboard. So whether I'm at the global level or I'm all the way, maybe I'm a new rep that just assumed a territory or somewhere in between. What we give you is, will you achieve your goals? I think I'm likely to hit my target this quarter. That's fantastic. And that's Aviso sharing this with us. So the plan number will come in. You'll see our Aviso forecast, what you've booked or commit. These are KPIs, and so whichever KPIs you're currently measuring today, we can happily bring those in to have them represented here. More importantly on the screen is the first 5 chunks of data that you get the second you log in, right? And that is what deals have been pulled in, what deals have been pushed out, right? And so what does that constitute? What is the delta of my business? So in this example, we see that we've had 34 million, call it 35 million pulled in. We've got 42 million pulled out. So I have a delta of about $7 or $8 million that I need to make up for of opportunities that were in this quarter. Maybe it's early in the quarter and we're cleaning our pipeline, or maybe it's late in the quarter and we're starting to scrub for the next quarter. But it's a great, easily viewable barometer of what's going on from a high level of my business. Interestingly enough, on the data science piece, Aviso is smart enough on the first day of the quarter to start predicting the deals that and making a forecast, not just taking into consideration the deals that are currently in pipe, but also the deals that we believe you will pull in from outside quarters and the deals that you will push out of this current quarter. We can also look at, what amount changes have we seen? What have the changes been in forecast category? The changes in our pipeline. What have I won? What have I closed? What have I lost? What have I originated, right? And this is a view within the last week. We also have the ability coming soon to look at last week, last quarter, or last month, and quarter to date. So whatever cadence or date range that you like to get specific on, we can absolutely accommodate. But when we look at the biggest movers, this is where we have applied the data science to the 4 aforementioned categories. And what have we upgraded or downgraded? So very easily, if I'm in the global head or if I'm a regional manager, I can come in and see, all right, we upgraded $7.8 million worth of deals. We downgraded 8.8. I have $1 million delta. So how has that impacted my number? And why have these deals been upgraded? Well, if we look on the left-hand side, this deal here, the GSI Group, it's a $2.5 million deal. Even though it was pushed out 2 weeks, it has moved up or moved down in stage from stage 4 to stage 7. So Aviso is smart enough to realize that because of that velocity change, even though the close date was pushed out, we're going to upgrade that deal. Very easy, very digestible. And again, you can add as many columns here as you'd like for the KPIs that you're currently tracking. But I think when we get into the real quote-unquote meat and potatoes of forecasting and why Aviso matters for your business today, whether large or small, is what do we provide you on the first day? And how do we back that up, and what visibility do we give you to how you're doing? So on the first day of the quarter, we give you this one really, really pretty blue dot. And that is the forecast of where we believe you are going to land at the end of the quarter. So we are forecasting $119.9 million for this demo example. And every day, we will plot the little blue dots that you see across this line, and they will go up and they will go down, and that will be adjusted based on the objective raw data that is happening within each and every one of your opportunities. And each week we'll plot a larger blue dot just for easy cadence to track. The blue shading is our confidence band. However, we base our accuracy on our initial blue dot, not on the band, which is important to understand. The second thing that we give you on the first day of the quarter is this yellow line that we draw from the first day of the quarter all the way to day 90. And that is your expected realization. What are your bookings and your revenue achievement rate going to look like throughout the end of the quarter? So we see we kind of start off flat for the first month, and then we hockey stick up at the end, right? The purple bands are the confidence of your team. So this would be the commit, most likely, and best case. And we can see how wide these bands tend to be. So having a confidence indicator like Aviso provides gives us the power to really get tighter and start having better conversations around why is your band so wide, here's what Aviso is saying objectively about our data, and how do we take action upon that. And then the green line underneath is how are you doing for the quarter, right? It is your one to date and how your revenue has been received based on your closed opportunities. So we can see in this example, we have a very wide band here. We're a little behind what Aviso is predicting, but interestingly enough, we see that there's an uptick in our pipeline. So when I want to go ahead and take a look at what's going on in my pipeline, maybe I left for a week, come back from vacation, I want to see what's happened, I can easily drag and drop 2 points here to say, hey, what's happened this time period? And this is where the real power starts coming in. We call this what's changed. So I can see that between June 20th and June 30th, I have a visual representation of everything that's happened in that time period. So we notice that we've got an uptick of about $6.4 million that happened. We can see what's changed. So we had nothing debooked, which is good. We can see the deals that we've won, which is fantastic, right? Deals that have been upgraded. So we have an $8.2 million increase there. But I think most importantly, we can see that the deals that have been downgraded have a $10.7 million negative contribution. So let's look at what those deals really are, right? And so as we look through these deals, we start seeing, here are all of the deals that happen, here's what it contributes to, and we can filter these by score, by owner, or by amount, however you'd like. And we start seeing the reasons. And so the reasons are all about not what we subjectively feel is going on in the deals, but what the data is saying about it. So you push some close dates. The deal velocity is low. You've decreased the amount, right? You've been stuck in a stage for too long. So all the reasons that are the blocking and tackling of an opportunity that reps should be following are surfaced here so you could take action and contact that rep, understand that manager and what they're doing in this deal, start moving them forward, because we have surfaced the fact that based on all of the deals that we've banded together, they're exactly like this specific opportunity or set of opportunities, there's an issue that needs to be surfaced to start understanding, how do I triage this opportunity to get it back on track? One of the last things I'll leave you, I know we've got about 3 minutes left, is for those of you that have a transactional business as part of your holistic business, is we give you two pieces of a forecast. We give you a total forecast, which is an existing and new pipe forecast. When we break that down, the existing pipe forecast is what have you started the quarter with in terms of opportunities that currently exist in your pipeline. Right? We all have those. We all know about that. What's fascinating is that we also form a prediction on the deals that will originate within the quarter and close within the quarter. So we can start predicting, based on historical trends, what that volume of dollars will be and how it's represented both in net new pipeline and existing pipeline. And this is not just for this quarter, and it's for last. And we give you the ability to look forwards in quarters and back in quarters. For those of you who forecast monthly, we can absolutely look at monthly forecasting as well, and give you a nice breakdown of what your business looks like. So I know we're up against the time. We've got just a few minutes left. This is the Aviso platform. It's giving you about 30,000 foot view today but we're happy to engage with each and every one of you. If you have any further questions, please reach out to us. We're happy to engage. We have extremely happy customers. We've got the Aviso brief that we've attached here that you can go ahead and download and read a little bit more about us. And hopefully you've enjoyed the session today. We've enjoyed presenting to you, and we look forward to seeing you in our next webinar. So thank you so much, and have a wonderful rest of your week.